Regulatory crackdown. The changing face of Italy's iGaming landscape. Following a recent mandate to ban gambling advertising in Italy, let's dive into the effects this will have on the online and retail gaming sector in the country. Moderated by Cristian Tirabassi, FICOM Leisure. Rodolfo Gherardo, BridgeLaw. Andrea Rossi, Betsson. Marco Castaldo, Yoroi.
Hello. Good evening, everybody. So, late afternoon, we're going to talk about Italy and focus a little bit of the situation of the online betting and gaming market after the challenge has been introduced. My name is Cristian Tirabassi. I'm senior partner of FICOM Leisure. We have a strategic advisor and M&A boutique focused only in the betting and gaming sector. Just a very quick introduction. The market, the Italian market, has been regulated, covering all the products, is taxed on GGR, and has been now one of the largest, if not, I think, the second market in Europe. Last year was about 1.6 billion GGR, where 40% was, 42% was betting, 46% was casino slots, and the balance between other product, poker, bingo, lottery, and so on. Growth on the first semester 2019, 850 million first semester. So we'll see how it's gonna finalize, but it's still growing, let's say under a sustainable model until now. Last year, a full advertising ban has been introduced, which obviously have is creating an impact into the current business, which I would like to discuss this afternoon. So first of all, just I would ask Rodolfo to have the framework of what happened and what is the advertising ban focused on.
Yeah. Thank you, Cristian. Thank you to everyone for being here this afternoon. So in July 2018, in Italy was introduced the full ban for all form of advertising of games and bets with money rewards and gambling. The advertising ban also applied to the ban also applied to any form of sponsoring to the games and betting and gambling. The full ban has been commented, and there are a number of vulnus or weaknesses in the law from an Italian law perspective and a European law perspective. But for the purpose of the discussion, it might be worth directly mentioning the fact that in April 2019, due to the uncertainty of the scope of application of the ban, because the ban is covering any form of advertising, either both direct and indirect, the Italian Communication Authority, that is the entity, the authority in charge of the implementation of the ban, issued some guidelines. I would like to point out that the guidelines somehow dispelled some of the clouds that were over the Italian market, but nonetheless, this is a matter of interpretation. This is still an interpretation and cannot overrule what is the law, that nowadays is still a full ban for all form of advertising. But nonetheless, there are two important elements in the guidelines that opened the market, or sustained the market. And one is the fact that what is still allowed in the eyes of the Italian regulator. One are the informative communication, i.e. those communication which are of a mere descriptive nature, which intends to provide the essential information as to the terms and conditions of the products, the terms and conditions of the accounts, and the bonus of the operator. And the other, so this form of communication is allowed. And other services that are the odd comparison services that are expressly and clearly defined and described as the informative service consisting in the comparison of different bonus and quoted and products. So moving from these two elements, the market is now somehow reinventing in Italy and setting the contractual relationship between the operator and the other players of the chain of value, i.e. the affiliation operator, in this way, i.e. keeping the much more the information, the communication as informative rather than calling for the play.
So basically complete ban, no advertising, no TV, no radio, no online advertising, no PPC, nothing.
Nothing.
So
nothing, and in both in internet, in media channels, there is an express prohibition of use of influencer, for instance. But the more in interpreting the law, the Italian authority says any form of advertising, even indirect, is banned. What is allowed is the mere information in a different channel, media, internet.
We are here on an affiliation segment of the conference. So affiliation, we understand that the interpretation is that affiliation is something that survives as a B2B relationship?
Yes, is also, I would say, should be even prompted, because should become the way on how the legal offer is conveyed to the market, the way on how the different legal operators are somehow compared, at the end of the day, to the benefit of the consumer.
Perfect. So Andrea, Betsson is in Italy since a number of years and is obviously focusing on the online and mobile. So what has been your reaction to this ban and how the group is planned to develop the business in Italy?
Thank you, Christian. Good evening, everybody. Well, it wasn't that easy to digest, right? I mean, especially for us, pure online operator, single product casino, and very aggressive on advertisement since we have launched in 2012, right?
So you were doing TV, you were doing
TV, radio,
so
above the line,
the full mix.
Yes, across channels, and very successful, I would say. So
sure.
We have based our strategy on advertisement. The differentiation that we have applied was a type of love the brand strategy rather than aggressive on commercial communication and offers. So we felt pretty comfortable on our strategy, but in July happened what maybe we were expecting as an industry in Italy. We have been probably too aggressive, and the public opinion was not supporting 100% the industry we are in. But I mean, now we have to move on. The ban is on, and we are looking into all the alternatives and try to apply the best way the guidelines, following the guidelines, and looking in alternatives to what we used to do before, right? So I believe that the online operators especially were the one affected the most for this ban, because we, of course, being an operator that has retail stores, then of course the exposure of the brand is so much, I mean, it's easier to market now with the ban. So we need to look into something to do. And I believe that the market will react in a way where online operators will move into the retail sector as well. So it will become like a kind of busy sector, the retail one. So the effect would be the opposite, right? Because online was more controlled, I would say, and now moving into retail, we are changing the balance of the business.
This is an interesting comment. You know, we have to remind everybody that obviously the online is completely traced and identified, the place is identified. The land-based obviously not, is an anonymous way of playing. Marco, you are a veteran in this industry. You've seen many changes. What's your comment and your view regarding what happened?
Okay, well, just to frame things, a quick introduction. So I run Microgame, which is the leading service provider in Italy, and we serve about 35 online operators and about 15 betting shop operators. The company's 20 years old and was an early pioneer in multi-channel. And I guess many of our core customers represent a segment in Italy which is destined to grow, which is a segment of the market that bases its customer sourcing to a large extent on what I call land-based affiliation. So networks of shops where players are recruited, they can sign up for their account, they can be identified, and some KYC can be done. And also some services like scratch cards to top up the accounts, and in certain conditions also payments out of the account can be made in the shops, of course subject to anti-money laundering. I think it's interesting to note that the recent tender for online licenses resulted in about 30 new operators, give or take somebody who then decided to pull out after the advertising ban, and about half of those operators, new operators, are land-based operators who are looking to capitalize on their networks to enter the online market. So I think we will see, apart from an underlying growth in the market, which we see is continuing, and I think will continue to exist because the penetration in Italy is still around 8 or 9%. That is the ratio of online GGR to land-based GGR. So from my perspective, it has room to double or even triple compared to what happens in other developed markets. So under that underlying trend in customer demand, I think we will see, and I think as was being suggested, we will see more and more multi-channel operations in the market. I think it'll be interesting to see if the affiliation industry or the affiliate industry, which of course is traditionally an online industry, starts to look at becoming multi-channel as well. I think this could be an interesting development.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. As we see, we see a number of companies that are looking to affiliation. There is a model in Italy which is kind of a land-based affiliation, so where land-based location can act under certain strict conditions in order to promote an online brand, as well as the traditional online affiliation that, as Rodolfo was mentioning, now probably will be conveyed through odds comparison and bonus comparison websites.
Yes. Yes, this is what we are seeing in the market, and looking ahead, I believe that in the near future, I do not foresee changes in the regulation, so I will see that the market is somehow getting more and more comfortable with these rules. Nonetheless, the market is asking, and a prominent part of this market are the new entrants that paid for the fees, for the concession, and in these days they are signing the new concession, so they are asking for an organic reform of the system, as opposed to the mere increase of the taxes, because we know that the Italian stability law that is being promulgated in the very next weeks is contemplating a significant increase in the taxes for the overall for the markets. And what we are seeing is that there are sanctions that are being imposed by the authority, and this is a good, might be regarded as a good news.
An operator with Italian license has been fined.
Yes.
By the authority.
By the Italian authority, and this is a good news for the other operators, because this would allow the challenge in courts of the law at the Italian and European level that might ultimately translate in an amendment, in a change of the law for the benefit, hopefully, of all the operators.
So you mentioned the budget law. We understand also that in the budget law they plan to reduce the number of licenses probably to 50 and to increase the cost of the license. So Andrea, what do you think this is going to drive the market into few larger operator, maybe multi-channel? What's your view regarding that?
Yes, yeah, of course, this will be exactly the effect, right? But I would like to add something, that Italy is the first regulated market applying the ban of advertisement. True. So this is a key point, because, of course, if eventually we would have seen another market doing this, we would have replicated the actions that market is applying. Unfortunately not. So we are really pushed to think out of the box, do something really innovative in terms of communication. And of course, the focus mainly will be product development, user experience, in order to tend to improve the retention of customer that eventually was happening through advertisement before. So now we are pushed into another area where we have to really put a lot of effort in order to retain the customers organically, right? So affiliates, SEO as a marketing channel. You said well that all other channels are blocked, but I believe that is an interesting challenge, especially seeing how the industry is moving into this direction, because Italy might not be the only one that
You're right.
will
We've
apply
seen this
that.
coming to Spain, Scandinavia,
Exactly.
and so on.
Rumors are all over.
Marco, what do you think it's going to market look like in the future?
I think certainly we'll see consolidation, and we'll see vertical industry leaders strong in online and land-based. But we'll also see, I think there will always be successful niche and segment players. So I think that's going to continue to happen. What I would say, to people is, even if you're not interested in entering the Italian market, it is a market to watch, because I think you see certain inevitable trends there coming to actual practice. And if I were to summarize those very briefly, I would say that you need to realize that traditional advertising is dead as far as the gaming industry is concerned. Affiliation has potential going forward, but needs to consider drastic changes, because the marketing practices threaten to kill it as well unless it renews itself. And thinking about multi-channel is a simple way to say it, but really, I think all players in the industry have to concentrate on player occasions, the player journey, not just through the website, but through his life, and what are the contact points. And the industry just has to get a lot more creative about harnessing those contact points in order to build a customer base and maintain it loyal.
Thank you. So thank you very much. This was a quick, to the point update on the Italian market. I'd like always to remind that online and mobile GGR in Italy represents something between 7 and 8% of the total betting and gaming market in US, so in Italy. So there is a huge way to go. Thank you very much. Good evening.